I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand.
For many years, whenever Americans face social, political, or economic problems, many people believe it was easier to blame Black Americans instead of looking at the deeper cause. But today, more voices, including some white Americans, are questioning those old beliefs and asking whether the blame was fair enough in the first place. In this video, we'll look at why this conversation is changing and what people are now saying about history, responsibility, and accountability. Welcome back to my channel. Before we begin the discussion, please take a moment to watch the clip carefully, pay attention to the different opinion being shared, and when the clips are over, please come back and let's break down everything together.
I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand. You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
You know, I'll never forget the day a white buddy of mine said black people don't deserve equality because they could never get enough. And that's true. White people are actually scared of equality. That's just how racist we are as a people. And it's not just that one person. White culture in general. Probably I would say most white people, when they hear the word equality, they fear that white people will be oppressed because brown, black, and indigenous people might actually get what's fair and just. That's just how racist we are. And we're so obsessed with the idea of not having equality in America for black, brown, and indigenous people that we don't have health care, that we don't have economic equality. We don't have reasonable gun laws. Our liberties are being stripped because we have a fascist, racist, white supremacist regime in office because we are so scared of equality. We're so scared that black and brown folks might become the majority one day. That we had a black president and now we've got to have a white supremacist president. That's how scared we are of equality. That's how racist we are as a people. Go to the fucking root. The root of America's problems. The root of the white man and the white woman, their problems, and America and the world. If you think about it, colonialization, white supremacy, the mentality of white people today, not just yesterday, today, right now, the denial, racially, the silence, the apathy, the continuous gaslighting, all that fucking shit, that's ruined us. It's ruined white people, and it's ruining our nation. And whose fault is it? White people's fault. Their inability to fucking fix their goddamn problem. Until we fix white supremacy, everything we try will fail. It's dysfunctional and it's toxic, and Trump and this regime is the perfect proof of all that shit. How we got in this fucking mess? White people's bullshit. White people's racist fucking bullshit. Period.
Instead of confronting the problems in their community, they immediately go to black people. You pivoting to black people. You understand what I'm saying? See, that's why I don't like to hear no talk from other groups, other immigrants. No, notice they didn't pivot to Hispanics. They didn't pivot to Asians. That's why all that people of color crap and all this other groups need to do this and that. No, they pivot immediately to black people. They didn't pivot to Africans. They didn't pivot to Caribbeans. Immediately pivot to us. That's what they do. They never want to confront their issues. And that alone, not confronting their issues, It's what they talking about their numbers. That's what's getting rid of your numbers, is you not confronting your issues. They were talking very, very greasy before this guy was captured. Now, since he's captured, all their conversation got different now. Trump was talking about radical left and all, but Trump was just going in about that, right? Then they capture him and they like, oh, well, you know, I mean, this is sad. I'm like, what I'm learning about, I have learned about that culture. They have a rule. It don't matter what horrific thing that they do, you do not openly condemn it. You don't. It don't matter who you do it to, who they do it to. And a lot of them like Charlie Kirk. I would think that they would really be just on the same energy. Why you turn the energy to black people when you should be turning it to your own community and say, wait a minute, hold on, what are we doing in this community? Why are we doing all this? It's no discussion.
Get on your knees and kiss my shoe. 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 Oh yeah. Kiss the shoe.
Chile.
Right over hand of Ali. Kiss the shoe. Kiss the shoe. Kiss my shoe. Kiss my shoe. Kiss my shoe. You're getting whacked. There, isn't
It's crazy how white people are just now seeing America that we all grew up seeing, and now they're like, this is horrible. It's been horrible. They've been doing this. This is not a shock to us. And it wouldn't be a shock to you if y'all didn't believe every single thing white supremacy has fed to you, right? It wouldn't be a shock to you if that every time something happens to a black person, you just kind of brush it off because it didn't happen to you. And the truth is, women been being abused and killed and attacked, but the women were dark-skinned. So it didn't apply to you. This has happened multiple times. What do y'all always say? Well, if they just comply, if they just comply. No, it's nothing about complying. Because even when you comply, they'll still beat the shit out of you. They'll still take your life. So understand, this is what we've been trying to explain to people. When they have an agenda to already harm you, they will harm you because they don't care. They already have it set in their minds. So welcome to the party.
When white people see my posts about racism in America, frequently they say, I didn't know. When black people see these comments, they say, we already know. There is no way you didn't know. Don't pretend you didn't. This disconnect is really hard to explain, and I've been trying to understand it myself. I'm going to be digging into this really deep because I think it's so important. It's not that we're just oblivious white people. It's that we've been groomed to be oblivious white people. People point out that it's not like this stuff is locked in some vault somewhere. It's available. You can see it. And that's true. But we were trained not to ask questions. We were trained not to look for it. And I see it in my family. I see it in my circle of friends, even some of my friends that are pretty progressive. We have this ingrained training to not ask too many questions. We were taught to trust authority figures, teachers, ministers, police officers, politicians, the anchor guy on the evening news. We believed them because we were groomed from childhood to believe that they were trustworthy. We were not taught that the system itself, the system they were part of, was designed to protect itself first. And frankly, it felt good just to trust them. It's like you had this permanent mommy and daddy figure. It made life feel safe. The gaps in white knowledge were filled in with lies. We were told that poor people were lazy, that's why they're poor. That crime existed in black neighborhoods because they were black neighborhoods. That broken families cause poverty. These ideas were not questioned. They were treated as common sense. And we were started with our grooming as infants, as little tiny babies, as little bitty kids that are impressionable and just forming our ideas about the world. So that was our social foundation. We were told that Black people can't keep their marriages together. I was even told that the reason they couldn't keep their marriages together was because of how they were treated during slavery. So out of one side of their mouth, they'd say, wasn't that horrible that families were split up during slavery? But now that has just become part of who they are. And so it's their fault. I don't know, it didn't make sense to me either. We also were not told that welfare benefits were not available if there was a man in the house, a Black woman working 2 jobs who still needed support to raise her children, could not have a husband or partner living in the house with her. And of course, we were taught that that was their fault because they couldn't keep their marriages together. As we were growing up and we started to repeat these beliefs, we were seen as respectful and well-adjusted. I don't know, are you getting pissed off? I'm getting pissed off just going through this again. We were guided by the TV news and movies and TV shows to care when white people suffered and to disconnect from the pain of other people. We were taught to feel patriotic about our country without questioning whether they were being truthful with us about why we should feel such patriotism. When we asked those white authority figures that we were taught to trust, we were lied to. Now, when Black people give us honest answers, we don't fully trust them. It's not about ignorance, it's about conditioning. My education is in behavior analysis, and that's how that works. You just expose someone to a social system that supports a certain line of thinking, and you fall for it, especially if you are started out as a young kid being taught all that stuff. And that's what happens to all of us. We were taught that silence is polite and that truth about society is rude or inappropriate. And as a girl that went to a fundamentalist Christian church, that was even more so. You don't ask questions that are going to make people uncomfortable. But that comfort, you see, it kept us obedient. It kept us from asking too many questions. It kept us from wanting to do anything about it because we didn't fully understand that there was something that needed to be done. We were used to preserve a system that depended on our own silence. It kept us from befriending Black people. It kept us from knowing what the hell we thought we knew about those people. So when white people say, I didn't know about any of this, understand what that really means. We were trained not to look. We were trained to believe the stories that we were told by the authority figures. We were shaped by a system that used your trust against you. We were trained to look away. And now we have a choice. White people, we need to get angry about being kept in the dark all these years so that together with our Black neighbors and neighbors of all races, we can break down this oppressive system that has brought us here to the point of fascism. Check the caption for some documentaries to help you get started learning. We need to really get curious.
After watching those clips, you can see that many people are openly discussing race history and who should take responsibility for some of Americans' biggest problems. Some speakers believe that Black Americans have often been blamed for issues that were actually caused by deeper social, political, and economic system. Others argue that the country needs to honestly examine its history instead of continuing to point finger at one group. Does this mean every white American thinks the same way? No, I don't think so. Yeah, because in the midst of all the white Americans, I believe that there are some that doesn't agree with this opinion, blaming everything on the Black Americans. People have their different opinions, and this conversation includes many different perspectives. That is why this discussion remains so important. We would love to hear what you think. So please share your thoughts in the comment section.
Just feel like the Black community, they have tried to warn all of us.
Yeah, you right. We tried to warn you, but you just didn't want to listen.
Anyone else feel extremely drained? Like, no matter how much sleep I get, like, I just feel tired. I feel drained. I could sleep for 8 hours and I still feel drained. I don't know what is going on anymore, but something really doesn't feel right.
Class consciousness. I'm sure you've heard the phrase a ton over the past couple of days, but let's break down what it means. It's kind of exactly what it sounds like, understanding where you fall under the current economic system and recognizing that your struggles are shared amongst all others in the same position, regardless of race, religion, gender. And it's the awareness that your personal challenges, let it be the cost of rent, student debt, low wages, they aren't personal failures, but a direct result of how society is structured. The system is actually designed so that it only benefits those at the top, while those at the bottom fight over crumbs. When we all develop class consciousness, we stop seeing ourselves as isolated and realize the power we all have together. Instead of shaming people for what they don't have, we start understanding why they don't have it and imagining something better. Historically, class consciousness has been a huge driving force for major movements of change. Think labor movements in the early 20th century, workers banding together to fight for fair wages, safer conditions, and things like the 8-hour workday that we take for granted now. Or take the civil rights movement. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't just fighting for racial equity, but also organizing to unite the working class across racial lines.
It is a crime for people to live in this rich nation and receive starvation wages.
Class consciousness shows up wherever people realize we're stronger when we organize. And it's no coincidence that historically movements like these have been met with resistance. This system does not want people waking up to their collective power.
So a lot of black-colored people are waking up to the realization that Black folks have always been right. They are literally waking up to find out that Black people have been right all along. They are now finding out that Black folks have known and seen the truth. You guys have to know that there is more deeper spirituality in Blackness. And now they are finding out, okay, because this whole thing is now glaring in their faces. Unlike before now, Black people could only sense it. But now it is knocking. And they all are feeling it and now confessing on camera that Black people were right. Hi my loves, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to let the rest of the videos roll, then I'll come back with more commentary. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your own take in the comments. I will come back with more commentary. Let's go watch.
I am so done with this world. It's starting to become so draining. I feel like I know too much, and I feel like I'm done trying to bring awareness to people who act like they're allergic to knowledge. Do you know when the saying goes, ignorance is bliss? It really is. The division is manufactured, the outrage is designed to keep you distracted while the agenda moves forward. And if you still think this is about left versus right, you're lost. You are completely wrong. This is about the people versus the system.
A white teacher refused to hug the only Black student in her class, but what the student did to get back at her surprised everyone. During a retirement party at an elementary school in USA, Michigan, the teacher, after hugging all the children, suddenly refused to hug Aaliyah, the only Black student. She gave her a cold pat on the shoulder before moving on to the next, which deeply hurt the little girl. Aaliyah, in tears, begged the teacher to come back, but the teacher deliberately ignored her. However, instead of letting it defeat her, Aaliyah decided to respond with dignity. During the ceremony, she spoke up, thanking the teacher, but expressing with maturity the pain of being excluded. Aaliyah's reaction to the teacher's rejection was nothing short of extraordinary. While many might have expected her to be crushed or angry, she took a different approach. After being ignored in front of her classmates, she didn't let the hurt define her. Instead, Aaliyah stood tall, wiped away her tears, and during the final moments of the ceremony, she made a powerful speech. How did you find Aaliyah's reaction? Tap the plus button to discover the teacher's reaction in part 2.
He said that I'm Black and he hates Black people.
A little kindergartner said that? And what'd you say back?
That's racist.
So, I got a question for all you crackers. Y'all really seem to hate Black people. So, here's my question. What did they do to y'all? I mean, what have they done to y'all to make you feel this way?
So, I think we should all, as white women, just admit we're jealous of Black women's hair.
Back with a wonderful message. Have you noticed lately that in this first 100 days of Trump's presidency, that no black people have been blamed for anything? I mean, it's totally amazing. At one point in life, I mean, we were the problem for everything. Lies, murder, torture. I mean, robbing people's neighborhoods, just scaring everybody. And I'm like, look at God. You know what I'm saying? Look at what God has done. Okay. He has put these people in positions to be seen to the very people who worship them. And look at what's happening right now. When you put people like this in charge, when you put hate in charge, when you put people who don't care about anybody but themselves in charge, because sometimes when people are the opposite color, they can't see it until it's right in front of their face and it's attacking them. And I am so grateful and hurt at the same time that they are experiencing what they're experiencing, because for once in their life, they don't have to blame us. Okay, they can lie and try to push the rhetoric that, oh, it's the left or it's black people and it's diversity, it's LGBTQ. But that's to deal with the frustration that, hey, they made a mistake. I actually fucked up this time. It wasn't any of these things that this man was talking about, but it was him all along. And now I'm so wrapped up into it, I can't even admit that I'm wrong. This is where they're at right now. MAGA is flipping silently. You know, one thing I noticed about MAGA is they don't really talk about they're wrong. They don't really admit it. When you're in a cult, you don't really want to. You know, you're afraid that, something's going to happen to you. There's going to be some sort of retaliation, or people are going to start looking at you funny or sideways. So you don't want to, especially when you're following someone like Trump, who always tells you that you need to be strong, and he psychologically manipulated you and made you think this thing and that thing. It has you all confused in your head. They don't want to admit it, that they made a mistake when they know damn well they did. But the main thing I'm happy about is that they now see that black people all along just wanted what was best for everybody. We ain't want shit for ourselves. We didn't try to hoard shit for ourselves. We ain't try to take up all the wealth and take people's jobs away, take people's welfare away, throw people's kids, attack transgenders and LGBTQ. That was not us. Our face is not attached to any of this stuff. Our face is not attached to defying the Constitution. Our face is not attached to defying the law. Our face is not attached to any of that. It's theirs. And God sees it. We, right here, we still fighting for justice with the power that they gave us. Okay? We looking out for one another right now. You know what I'm saying? But with the power that America has given black people, which is nothing, we're doing our best that we can. Now you understand why it's important not to disenfranchise people. Because yes, black people could have joined you in this fight if our rights were aligned with yours. But no, y'all wanted to strip us of that. Y'all wanted to strip us of our voice. You want to strip us of our power. And we are the only force that you guys have when it comes to upholding justice and discrimination against people. Because we're the only people who have faced it for 400 years. So we know how to deal with it. But because y'all want to constantly attack us and make us the enemy and listen to these prejudiced, racist, ignorant, homophobic, white colonizers, this is where you have yourself now. Crashing stock market, prices through the roof, can't feed your family, homelessness through the air, attacking democratic states, causing chaos, allowing our weather service to be attacked, allowing our federal dollars to be filtered through, different illegal means, just completely wrecking shop in our government. And it ain't us. So y'all can never blame this. The insurrection wasn't us. And this right here wasn't us. There was a bunch of black faces with Joe Biden, a whole bunch of them. But nobody's experiencing the shit that they're experiencing right now. You can't blame it on Joe Biden. Everybody's talking about Joe Biden. He's a white man. They talking about Joe Biden. But he had a whole bunch of black women that was in his cabinet. And neither one of them are mentioned, besides Kamala Harris. That's the only one that they're mentioning, because she was the front runner who was trying to run for president. So they just going to try to discredit her as promiscuous black woman, like they do every black woman that's in America. They just want to sexualize them and call them, ignorant, and that they didn't get their positions but through sex. That's just what they do here. because they're ignorant and they're retarded and stupid. So, yeah. But aren't y'all happy that the face that is doing this destruction is not us? Aren't you happy that in the history books, they won't see black people raging out doing what they're doing right now to their own country? Well, I can't say their own country, but to this country. I'm happy. I'm happy that black people are on the right side of history right now. That's what I'm happy about.
You guys remember that time way back in 2020 when white people kneeled down and begged for forgiveness, and actually in some, not in this video, but in other videos, were washing the feet of black people, especially in places like Washington, D.C. It was like a global pandemic, you could say, of just people that wanted to cleanse themselves from being racist for all these years, and it just spread like wildfire in the white community. It was really a hilarious moment in time, and one of the most ridiculous things you probably have ever seen. But yeah, I just came across that video recently and wanted to remind you guys of just how idiotic some white people on the left can be. For more videos like this, make sure you hit the follow button now. Take care, and God bless America.
I hope you have had a clearer understanding of what this discussion is really about. The main issue is not simply about blaming one group of people. It's about asking whether America is willing to face its history honestly, learn from it, and work towards better solution instead of repeating old pattern of blame. Whether you agree or disagree with this opinion shared in this video, having respectful conversation is an important part of understanding each other. If you found this video interesting and thought-provoking, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video with others, and leave your opinion in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.